say, I love this is, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Like learn something new about yourself every single day. You are like an unwritten book. There's so many pieces of your story that haven't been written yet. Uh, be exciting. Be exciting.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to my show. My name is Tiffany Alexander, and this is Unveiling Journeys. I'm happy to have you here. I have an amazing guest for you. Of course, I have so many cool people that I want to get you to know. That's why the podcast was born. And this is what it looks like. Let me just tell you briefly about me. I love people. I love people so much. I love hearing their story. I love hearing them out, telling me about their wildest dreams and this company they've built and the people that they're helping. And those tend to be the people I introduced you guys to. And that's like my entrepreneurs or business owners. And what ends up happening is I can no longer contain me by the end of me meeting them going like, there's people I think you need to know, but also you're so darn cool. How do I get to know more people just like you? Or hey, by the way, who do you know that I need to know? And that's a really good way to keep the conversation going so you can share all the people that you know. And it's kind of the land of networking. And that is how I get to meet some of the coolest people ever. And you guys get to know all about it. So, with that, I have an amazing guest for you. Her name's Dena, and we met through a mutual friend, Josh, who's like one of the really um, abundant super connectors that I know. And he was like, "Do you know Dina yet? You have to get to know her." Of course. So it's like a year in the making of us trying to get on this show together. And I get to bring her on to share her story today. Dina, welcome. Do me a favor, tell everybody a little bit about what you're up to right now.
Oh my goodness. So, thank you so much for having me. And it's just such a blessing to be aligned with super connectors, right? So, we are super excited to have you here as well as a guest. So, thank you for having me. I am up to just helping entrepreneurs get out of that funk, the burnout, trying to juggle all the hats in business. We get into business for, a reason and we love it. And then we realize it comes with a whole lot of other things that we don't like doing. One of my least favorite things is like the CPA work and trying to like make all the numbers add up and watch every stinking penny. Not my favorite thing, right? So,
Percent.
what we do is take a lot of those hats off the table for you so that you can then focus on what it is that you love doing, the thing that you're passionate about, the thing that lights you up every single day, the thing that gets you out of bed and just, motivates you to just go, go, go. So, yeah, that's what we're up to.
That's incredible. You are speaking my language because if I could just meet with people and not do paperwork, and yet I know that there's a 100% opposite person of me that's like, no people, just let me do your paperwork. I'm like, these are the people that are my people. We need to be friends. And that way we can fulfill all that part that makes you warm and fuzzy and want to like show up to your job every day. um, well,
Right.
tell me if somebody is thinking these thoughts, what is it like for them to take the next step to be like, how do I find someone like you?
Yeah, we do something unique called a productivity audit. So we analyze currently what it is that you're doing. One of the things that I think most people have this like myth about is if I use technology, I'll lose the essence of who I am and the the personal touch of how my business works. I mean, have you ever thought that?
I mean, a little bit because it's like if I let AI reply to my emails like I do right now, it doesn't sound like me anymore. So I don't let it do
Yes.
it 100%.
Yeah. So we've all had that like thought of like, no, if I come out of the business, then I'll either lose momentum, I'll lose authenticity, it won't feel like me, it won't be me. And so in our productivity audit, what we do is we really look at, you know, all the little steps that you have in your business of what makes it work and what makes it uniquely you. And then we find ways to automate those things so that you're not actually doing it, but it is your voice. And
Uh,
so, yeah, and so it makes a big difference. It's funny because my friends will all be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so busy," and I'm like, "I am." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got your message about this, and then you reminded me about this, and like you're so good at keeping up on top of things." And I'm like, "Oh, oh,
Reminder.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah." Like, oh, that's my systems, yeah, which is really cool.
Uh,
But then
that
I'm
it's
not burned out.
right. Yeah, some people are like, "Tiff, you're posting, like, constantly?" I'm like, "We scheduled all those out for, like, in an hour." Like, there's no way that you would find me posting multiple times a day on anywhere. And that's me
Right.
being conservative about it. I should be posting on all platforms, and I don't not because 'cause I'm too chicken. How do I get out of my own way sometimes?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's a valid concern. We all have that moment where we're either self-sabotagey or like, I'm the one holding up the line, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do for that. Most of it's mindset.
Oh my gosh, this is so neat. Well, I want to hear your whole story of how you got here. Tell me, let's start from the beginning. Like, where are you from? What did you think you were going to be growing up? Like, what'd you go to school for? Like, let's crack into it.
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. So I'm totally not doing the same thing that I started, right? So I knew when I was 2 that I wanted to do something in wellness and health. Actually told my mom I wanted to be a pediatrician, and then found that pediatricians were the lowest paid doctors of all of them. And so, yeah, I think somebody told me, "Oh, nurses make more than doctors, over time." And I was like, "Okay." Ended up going to school to be a nurse. I've been a nurse for 25 years. Grew up in California, born and raised there. And then me and my husband decided we had a family and everything, and we decided, I think it'd be good to get out of California. Let's go experience some other places in the world. We moved to Dallas for a little bit, and then,
Fun.
yeah, 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 I love Texas. And then he got relocated here to Missouri, and so I, in being a nurse, probably I was about a year in. I quickly realized like we don't get to the root of a lot of things. We do a lot of symptom management. And
Right.
my mom at the time was like really sick. She started passing out from her blood pressure meds, getting anaphylaxis from her allergy shots. I was like, Mom, you can't drive. Like, we've got to figure this out. Like, Western medicine ain't it for you. What are we going to do now? Like, so then I started this like deep dive, and it was really selfish. I was like, look, if we can figure you out and get you all taken care of, I don't have to have the same pathway as you do. Cause,
Yeah.
most family members follow in the same path as their parents because of they keep the same lifestyle, they have the same habits, and then they have the same genetics. And so I was like, let's figure this out. And so I also noticed, all the women in my mom's side of the family live to be in their 90s as well. And so I was like, you have a longevity gene. Like passing out and getting anaphylaxis is just not going to be good for you for the long haul. So
Uh,
started deep diving, got her off of 12 of her medication. She lost 67 pounds in 3 months. And we were just like, "Okay, there's something to this." And my mom, like, loves people too. She's like you, like, "I just wanna love and hug everybody, and I wanna tell everybody about everything." And so she'd be, like, at Costco or at the grocery store and be like, "My daughter can help you if you have, blah, blah, blah." So I ended up creating a whole, like, holistic practice, just kind of learning how to help people naturally, and they would have just these humongous transitions and transformations. And so I was just like, and it's still to this day, I still do that, and it's it's always just mind-blowing at how much of a transformation you get when you make just a few little tweaks to the lifestyle. It's amazing.
I agree. I love this so much. I find this so fascinating. If it weren't for my mom into medical and then realizing like, oh my gosh, my health is declining and our great greats lived for hundreds a year. Like my great great grandma died at like 104. I'm like, you got to get on track to like get your body back into shape. You're sick and whatnot. Seeing her get me early into like having a multivitamin. Who would have thought, right? Vitamin D or like, hey, your something's out of whack. Like in my 20s caught me really ahead of everyone else that I think that I became the shining star of like, wow, you guys got sick all winter. I just started amping up on vitamin D by the time the sun went down. Like there's little things that we're depleted of here in America that we don't realize because you think, oh, I'm eating healthy. It's like, well, that soil's not even working for you anymore. Right. So I'm a big fan of you being able to do this probably because you had the time that a doctor is just trying to get patients in and out of the door because of medical insurance nowadays is like not a fan, like nurses probably make more than them by the time you get malpractice insurance, right? So I could see the compounding effect of why this worked out so well for you. But was there any stage where you're like, I need to left turn, right turn? And like, what did that keep looking like for you?
Oh my goodness, left turn and right turn is like my middle name. Like, I remember because, I think it's funny because people are always like, "Oh my gosh, but you're a nurse. You just know this stuff." And I'm like, "No, nowhere in nursing were we taught about holistic anything." Right? Like,
No. No.
we still feed diabetics pudding and Jello at the hospital. Like, there is nothing even remotely that makes sense, like, holistically of, like, what we're doing there, and it's still going on to this day. Anyway, I remember, you know, when I first started and kind of going down this road being like, okay, I remember I taught a lot of like community classes and we'd educate a lot, and I was down in like the Redlands area, which is kind of like a blue zone. So there was a lot of health and wellness type people looking for holistic, outlets and that kind of stuff. We call them the granola people, like there was a lot of granola people there. And so it worked out really well. They were hungry for that kind of education. And I remember we'd teach these classes, and then we'd have like a post meeting and we'd be like, okay, how do we pivot? What went well, what didn't, kind of like, like a little SWOT assessment, to see like, this was our strengths, this was our weaknesses. What else? What can we change? How can we do it different? So that's kind of always been there underneath the surface of everything that we've done. Even in nursing, yeah, I did nursing supervisor for a little bit too. And I remember, we'd same thing. Okay, what could we have done different? Like, this is what happened. Like, could we have changed or tweaked anything to have a better outcome? Like, what would that have looked like? So that's kind of like ingrained already in me.
Mm,
And
yeah.
so, and it's super helpful, to be able to kind of take your step outside of yourself. Most people don't like like criticism at all. And so, you know, it's not for everybody, but when you are able to take on criticism and make those adjustments, it only makes you better, 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 better. And so
Right.
if you look at it in a different, like a different state of, how am I going to improve and how am I going to stay, on top of my competition, or, I don't really believe in competition, but 'cause we're all so unique. But if that's something that you look at, like, what is going to give me that one up that, maybe no one else is doing, or, whatever. That's such a great way to do that. Or what are the people asking for? And doing that kind of like feedback assessment and looking at, hey, I would have liked to seen this. Okay, great. Next time let's do that. Let's add it in, and see how that plays out. So I think like just doing that on a regular basis really helps you grow and stretch in areas that maybe you weren't even thinking about, that someone else is like, yes, I would love to have saw that, you know?
Mm. Yeah, I enjoy being self-aware, like taking a survey or getting my labs done, or like at least I know where my weaknesses are, and if I want to sink back into them, I understand, but at the same time get the help when I need the help and know why I need it, when I need it, and all of the above to understand, "Oh, I'm like this right now because," like, almost like giving me a label makes me feel better to be like, "Oh, I'm doing that thing again. I need to reach out for help," right? Like, reaching for a cracker. "What's happening, Tiff?" Right? Or like, like, "Oh, I'm stressed out. How can I handle stress better?" Right? Or, "What are my vitamins doing lately?" Or, "Have I seen the sun at all in the last week?" Right? So,
Mhm,
California, no.
mhm.
But,
Yeah, yeah.
man, these are incredible things. What did this start to look like as heading this direction? When you said you headed toward the holistic way, did you form like a whole company to then bring in these like patients? Because you weren't the doctor, you were the nurse.
Yeah, yeah. I started teaching a whole bunch of community classes. A friend of mine had brought a naturopath. The naturopath and I connected, and she's like, "Hey, like, teach me about botanicals and like what you're doing, and I will teach you about food sensitivity testing." And I was like, "Okay, this sounds great, And so we were partnered for probably 5 years, and we got so busy. We were seeing sometimes 60 to 100 clients a day, and it was just so crazy busy. Like, it would be like, you know 10 to 15 minutes with each one, and that's just not enough time. And so, she was like, "Hey, I think it'd be beneficial if, you got all your own equipment and we open another practice." And I was like, "Okay." And then we ended up moving to Dallas. And so that worked out really, really nicely to have had all that collaboration and just knowledge being shared. And, she'd be like, I'm going to show you how to do this. Just teach me how to do that. And I'm like, all right, cool. And
Yeah.
so it worked out so cool. And then I was able to take that and just basically start an entire new um, gathering place just in Texas. Yeah. We did all the same things. We had already developed like all the tools and the structure. We just took that into a new location.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And I think that's where some people start to lack is one of the strengths you have is the structure, getting people on
Yeah.
structure, getting people to understand systems and where you lack, where you could bring in and all of the above. Um, what what did that start to look like more for you? You moved to Dallas and what happened from there? I know you said you
Oh
moved to
gosh.
Missouri, but like your work and patients and family,
Yeah.
like tell me more.
Yeah, so, my husband really, really, really wanted to leave California. I was like, okay, take it or leave it," right? All my whole family was there. Both of our whole families were there pretty much. We did have family in Oklahoma, which was close to the border of Texas, so that was really nice. But I was like, "Hey, look, if we move, like, I don't wanna have to go back into the hospital. I'll just kind of do my own, like, holistic practice thing." And so I've been doing that for probably 10 years now. Just that. No bedside, just my holistic practice with the marketing. So I have both of those companies that I run. But yeah, so because I had already gotten the structure set up, all I did was just start networking in the area and was able to find new clients. And then when I moved to Missouri, we didn't know anybody at all. And so
Right.
my business coach, she was like, "You're going to probably want to network." And I was like, okay, I can network. And so then just started networking here and it grew so fast. The COVID hit and then it was everybody's online, and so I end up meeting so many people. That's how you and I met. It was post COVID, lots of online networking happening. And so it was great because you can connect with anybody from anywhere. And like what I do is remote. So it was great. I still have my clients in California. I still have some in Texas. I have them in Florida. I have them here in Missouri. So it's been phenomenal having had the structure set up and being able to train other people to do what I do and then also, duplicate, which is huge. Not many people know how to do that. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
I was thinking because 'cause you're going to, like, further and further away from the granola people, right? Like, Texas, like, everything's bigger in Texas, including your belt and your plate size, right? And then Missouri, it's like worse than Texas, like, you're not meeting a meet and greet for a nutritionist in Missouri for nothing. So,
Uh,
online's
yeah,
definitely probably what and structure is what kept you going. That's
yeah.
so cool.
Oh my goodness. It was so funny. So like my coach, she was like, "You're gonna probably want to go to like a BNI," and I was like, "All right." And then she was super, super awesome because she was like, "Go to each one because you'll find your tribe." I went to 17 different chapters. I mean, like, I was like, these people are still smoking and drinking soda. I don't know where I'm gonna find my people. And like,
Yeah, you walk into a
you're right.
restaurant
Like
smoking or not, and you're like, "What's happening?"
I was like, Did you guys not get the memo? There's a memo. This stuff's not good for you, you know? And it was funny. And I ended up choosing a group that was really, really like more holistic minded. And they were fantastic. They were fantastic. Yeah. Hmm.
Man, that's cool, that's cool. Well, I know so many people are, like, hurt by COVID, but blossomed in COVID because it's like, "Hey, we're all cool now that we can meet online," and most of my appointments, if not darn near all of them, are online because it's like, "Wouldn't you rather be home? I don't wanna go meet you for lunch, I just wanna sit at home and then clock out whenever we're done." I love people,
Yeah.
but I don't need to hug you anymore at this point, except maybe some people here. But that's so cool. So you're in your practice, you've been doing it for 10 years now. Now, this is the holistic side. Where did this come into the play of you helping people with the structure of their business and being able to help them be not their own bottleneck?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. Okay, so like I've had my holistic business almost 20 years, but I've been not in nursing at all for about 10. When I moved here to Missouri, I didn't know anybody at all, so I started networking a lot, and I've met probably 6,000 business owners. So I love people as well. And so like, you talk to them, hey, how can I help you? I love opening up my network of people and being like, hey, who do you want to know? Because I will make the introductions, right? Very intentional. I love that part of networking. And so, like, you have conversations with people and they struggle. They struggle so much with moving from like, this is my business, this is what I love doing, but how do I talk about it in a way that makes other people get as interested in it as I'm interested in it? How do I talk about what it is that I do without sounding like salesy or pushy? How do I go on do I need to post 19 times a day? Do I have conversations? Do I network? Do I buy leads? Like, like they had all these questions and they were like what do I do? So I found that there was this like lack of knowledge of utilizing systems. There was an underutilization of systems, and there was a lack of knowledge for like how to position yourself in the authority that you
Hmm.
are. I think so many
Yeah.
people are they are like their own worst self-critic when it comes to sharing like what it is that you're good at, cuz like let's face it, like you can have two people that do what I do, right? But we don't do it the same because I have a background in a certain I've my experience is XYZ and theirs is ABC, and so they're going to bring ABC to the table, I'm going to bring XYZ to the table, and so it makes the way that we do things super unique. Plus I have my own story, that other person will have their own story and their own, like, so all the experiences and the stories make you just a one of a kind unicorn in what it is that you do. And so like I love extracting that piece that gives them that authenticity and that power of like, this is me, there is nobody that can do this like me. And so and I think that like once they understand that type of power that they have, they're so unique. And you know yes, there might be other people that do something similar, but there's really no competition because there's only one you. There's just
Yeah.
something so amazing about that and so phenomenal that it kind of gets them out of that like competition mindset.
Right.
And
Abundance
so and that
mindset. Let's go.
yeah, into an abundance mindset, which is really where we all should be, right? There is no
Right.
lack of people to
No.
sell to. There just is not, right? So, or needing what it is that we do. Yeah. And so I needed tools myself. I was running three businesses at the time and I was like, dude, I need some help, man. This I'm like drowning, right? And so then my same business coach that was like, you need a network here. I was like, she goes, just get a CRM. And I was like, all right. And so I end up taking some courses with Grant Cardone, and then he's like, buy a marketing company. And I was like, all right. And then bought the marketing company. And then I was like, dude, there's a lot of tech in this marketing company. And then ended up, I'd hire my business partner to do a lot of the tech. She is amazing. Her brain just goes automatically to digital design. And when like you were talking about finding the people that like to do the things that you don't like to do, that's
Yes.
her and I. We're like the yin and yang. We are like the perfect match. All the things she doesn't like, I love. All the things I don't like, she loves. And so we make such the greatest team. And she also runs five businesses, so she gets it. And so we're like, hey, this is the way that we can show up and help business owners not get burned out, because
Yeah.
that is one of the things that entrepreneurs really, really struggle with. And coming from the health and wellness background, we're like, don't give up on business and don't burn out, you know?
Yeah, right. Because you burn out, your
Mhm.
health takes the first dive, and you can't take care of yourself, you don't take care of your business, you don't take care of your family and your household and your finances, like, it all just falls apart whenever you fall apart from the burnout.
We have a saying that we started probably 20 years ago, and it was me and the naturopath. And we would say, either you manage your stress or your stress will manage you. And it is so, so true. And that is probably one of the things that people walk away with that are like, it's so profound when they realize, like, either I do something about it now or I leave it to chance. And like,
Mm,
can you really afford to leave it to chance? Not
mm-mm.
usually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, this is so good. I love hearing this part of your story to see because I know we've had half hours together here and there, and I'm like, I haven't gotten this far about how your whole story evolved, and like I love hearing all this today. So, but
Appreciate
here's
you
the deal.
letting
I
me
want to
tell
ask
it.
you,
Yeah.
you keep showing up in like many ways. Obviously, you got systems in place, but like it's still not easy. You still got to do all this for yourself. Why? Why do you keep showing up? Why do you care so much?
I think that I am highly motivated by like helping other people and to save somebody from the trials that I've had to go through is like, you could take the long way. But look, can I just take you the shortcut? You want to just go with me to the shortcut, you know? And then most people are like, yeah, like who says no, I want the long, windy, treacherous road? Nobody. All right.
Yeah, with landmines, right? You're like, I've already
Yeah.
been over there.
Yeah. Yeah, it stinks. Nobody wants to go over there, you know? So, yeah, I do absolutely find huge amounts of value and I'm getting ready to write a book on like showing up and honoring people because I think it's especially in entrepreneurship, sometimes that's not the first thing we lead with, but it should be. And what better way to write a book than to show up and be that person, right? And live it so that I
Mhm.
can live live and tell the story by example. And so, yeah, I'm highly motivated by honoring other people, showing up for myself first, right? Which if I'm not getting out of bed, who am I helping?
Yeah. Yeah. Or
Nobody,
kicking your feet up, having a cocktail in your hand and retiring. There's
right?
none of that around here.
Yeah, no, I was like,
Just treating
talk about
yourself better
retire.
so your business can run the way it should run and be on
Yes,
autopilot,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Oh,
totally.
at this point, people are thinking, wait, I want to know you. Like, is it easy to get hold of you? What's your favorite way for people to come find you? Because I think you're available. Like you're willing to meet with people, and I love that about you. So tell
Oh,
them how they
yeah,
can
for
find you.
sure. For sure. Yes. So my phone number is 314-897-7727. You can find me at Holistic Harmony with a WHOLISTIC HARMONY, the number 4, the letter U at gmail.com. That'll go directly to my inbox. And then, I'm at holisticdena.net if you go to my website. And yeah, I would love to have a conversation, reach out just to talk about whatever. I'm always open. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Okay, I only have two more questions. The next one's really going to be like, what's next? Like, what's on the horizon? What are you working on?
Well, getting ready to write a book, which is super exciting. And I recently signed up to do deliverance ministry. So I'm in school for that. And that's been so much fun to just see people just overcome some of the most horrendous things that could be tossed a person's way. Like just
Yeah,
the trauma
generational.
that people,
Yeah,
yes, generational bloodline, extensive abuse. I'm just
mhm.
seeing like amazing things happen. I have a good friend that I've been working with. I'm like, "Hey, can I practice with you?" And she's like, "Absolutely." Like she literally messages me almost every day and she's like, "I had another breakthrough. I had another breakthrough. I had another breakthrough." And this is a girl that was like paralyzed at one point. She moves now with no pain. It's just phenomenal. She paid off $20,000 in debt in 1 month. Like it seeps into every aspect of our life, that trauma. And so
Yeah.
getting rid of that trauma is so profoundly huge. Yeah,
Hmm. That is
I
amazing.
absolutely
Well, this is just
love
gonna
it.
be growing, growing, growing. You guys are gonna wanna follow Dina on all of her socials so that way you can keep tabs on what she's going and doing next. But this is gonna be my last question. What do we wanna wrap up the show with? What do we wanna leave as like your golden like nuggets of wisdom that will be the last thing we talk about?
I say, I love this is, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Like learn something new about yourself every single day. You are like an unwritten book. There's so many pieces of your story that haven't been written yet. uh, be exciting. Be exciting.
Oh my gosh, this has been so fun. I'm so grateful for your time, for you to come hang out. It's been awesome to get to know you more. And I'm so glad for everybody that stayed and you got to listen to all of Dina's story. I highly recommend that you reach out and just say, is there anything you can help me with? Because I bet there is. And if she's like, hey, I'm not the person, she's got a massive network of people that she could refer you to because we're super big fans of the Super Connect land. And that's it. We're going to wrap up the show. Thank you again. And I will see you guys all soon on one of the next episodes.
I
Bye.
appreciate you. Bye.